Good afternoon. We are in class again. First, this is Auntie P. Thank you for the feedback. I got some feedback from some students about the text. I was told that the text was not very legible, so I hope that it is legible today. I tried to zoom it a bit bigger so that it could be more legible. So, we've done three classes, or we've had three classes so far. The first class was an introduction where the intent of this lecture or uh, this discussion was just to see how it can be interactive. There can be feedback from subscribers and from students, to know or to ask questions, or people who have doubts on some things with Mandarin language as Chinese language. And then in the second class, we talked about the finals and finals and the initials, which in English will be consonants and vowels. I be different from the Chinese because while they have the single consonants, or rather the single vowels, they also have the double, triple, quadruple vowels that you add to the finals. I mean, that you add to the initials to be able to form words in Chinese. We did that in the second class. And the third class, we touched on the tones. We talked more on the tones. We talked on word formation, forming words, and seeing how a word without tone could have several characters. And for you to know the actual word you need or you're trying to use for the discussion, then you have to know which character. Because, like I said, the Chinese character have more than 5,000 characters. However, if you know 500, you could jostle and mix with each other to form various words. And basically, you will be literate enough to have any discussion or any kind of discussion with an average Chinese at a level that is good enough for a little bit more than basic, maybe intermediate. To go pro will be other in-depths. Maybe you need to know some words, not really words, more like, say, the proverbs. There are other some Chinese ancient, they call it C, um, 4 word sentences. It's 4 words, but it means a whole lot. So when you go pro in that level, then it means you've gone to that level. But in any case, basic, intermediate will be very good for you to communicate with an average Chinese anywhere in the world. For this class, we will still be on the tones as well as word formation, but this time we will be, and also last class we did the preliminary greetings, the ni hao, which has to do with hello, hi, good morning, the zaijian, which is the bye bye after much conversation, and then you have the xie xie, which is thank you. These are, I called them the key Chinese words you should know at the early stage of conversation. Even more necessary than it's more necessary than the good morning, good afternoon, good evening, because an average Chinese would at least say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. When they meet people, the easiest thing to say usually will be ni hao. So once you know your ni hao and you know your zaijian and you know your thank you, which is xie xie, then you are good. So those were the things we touched last lesson. So this lesson, we will be talking about tones. And we're still back to the tone, still the same. But this time around, we're going to show the pinyin, the anzi, and the Chinese and the English interpretation of each tone, so that we can better drive home uh, what I was trying to say about knowing the character at some stage. It is essential that you know the character of the word you're speaking, because when you're pronouncing, except the person you're communicating with understand what you're saying. But when you're writing, you have to write the right words. I gave an example last time when I was going to say interpret. That was what I was going to tell the Chinese person, that he should interpret. But I ended up writing something else that wasn't interpret, that looks more like sound. Fine. Fine was like sound, like it means sound, like send the sound, something like this. But meanwhile, I was trying to say interpret, which is supposed to be fine, fine. So I made a mistake. I wrote if I'm going to write it in English, it's going to be, I wrote Fayin, which means fine, send sound. Then instead of fine, which is supposed to be interpret, that would be FAN, one word, YI. But I made that mistake, and that he didn't even say it. In my trying to revise, I saw the mistake and I had to correct myself. So you could imagine writing an essay, writing a letter, having a chart, and you write that. You just lost the Chinese person you're communicating. Will be like, oh, what sound does he want me to send? And well, if it's a friend, it might be easy. But imagine it's more of an official stuff, which in most cases, when people study language, they want to at least have some commercial, aside from the communication part, which is for fun, but they want to be some commercial purposes for it. Like if you can work in places where you can interpret and make some money, or at least be really commercialize the whole thing, because at the end of the day, it's a skill, right? So that's just it. So this time around, we're going to be talking about tones, different characters, and this. So last time we spoke about the first tone, which is the horizontal tone, ba, ah, just on the flat. Then we talked about ah, you know, going up, the up one. Then we talked about the down up, ah, ah, ah. Then you have the the four tones. So the first example, we just like to use this as the first example. So you could see the first tone is ba, ba. Ba means eight, figure eight. Ba, ba, ba means to pull out something. So you can see that's different. But they all have the BA. The only thing that differentiates them is the tone. So if, for example, I want to say, uh, pull out the carrot, for example. I say, ba ulobo, ba nega ulobo, chingewo nega ulobo, chimba nega ulobo. Please pull out the carrot. Chimba nega ulobo, chimba nega ulobo. If I say chimba nega ulobo, chimba nega ulobo, it's, well, if I'm speaking with somebody, the person, if it's not critical about the tone, may know what I'm trying to say, because he knows I might be pointing at the carrot and then I'm saying pull it out. So the person might have an idea. But if I'm writing it and I use the character meant for eight for the carrot, I would lost the person, because the person might mean, please give me 8 carrots. He might think that's what I'm trying to say. As against, please pull out the carrot. Then you have this bar, bar, bar is like a target, trying to target at something, or this arrow thing they play. So when you're trying to target something, so this bar, it's not bar. Like this one, chin bar is going up. But this one is bar. There's the R. Mm. You get the down the hop, and then you have the ba. Although it's also ba. That's father, dad, ba. Just like the way I say mama and all that. You know, mama is different from, for the dad is the fourth tone. For the mother is the first tone. So you can see the tones are on it and what it means. We're going to go to the characters soon. Then you see that of the mom. Ma, ni mama zaima, ni mama, not ni mama, ni mama zaima. Then to be nom, ma. Then when it's hers, ma. I hope you're getting my tones, because if you're not careful, the second and the third tone may look similar, but they are not, because there's always a there's a down up, and then you have the ma. To ma somebody in Chinese, to scold somebody, ma, the way she ma na, not the way she ma ma. The way she ma is like talking, ma is mom, or the way she ma is like horse. So you can see the way the tones actually determine how the words will end up forming at the end of the day. Then you also have the figure 1, E, Last time I think I gave it a bit of that. I was like, E is one, E, R, 三, 四, 五, 六, 七, 八, 九, 十. So that's, and they have the signs. When I tell you one, do two, three, they do four, they do the five, and then the six and all that. They have signs for all those things anyway. So, but in this case, E is one. E to move something. If I tell you move the book, move the TV, move the phone, E. The next one is E. Usually they add this particle now at the back of it to say easy, easy. K or nigga easy. Easy means the Z does not have any tone. It's like a silent tone. It doesn't have any tone. It doesn't have the horizontal easy. So it's like Z. It just it doesn't really mean anything, but it gives body. You know, if I say chinge or nigga E, why the E means chair. When I say easy, it's easier for them to know that it is chair. Chinge or easy. You know, chindai nigga easy girl. They can easily understand it because of that Z at the end. It's like saying ni hao ma. That ma does not really mean anything, but it gives a question. It puts a kind of question at the end of that sentence. If I say ni hao, you could take ni hao as how are you, which is also a question. But when I put that ma, it gives it more of the body of the question. There is another one, ba. You know, they'll say ni lai ba. When I say ni lai ba, that ba doesn't mean anything, but it gives it kind of it's like our exclamation mark in English. You know, it gives a good end to the question or to the sentence you're giving. It gives it some kind of it makes it sound uh, a bit complete. Not because if you don't put it, it's not complete. It gives it that completeness. So, not sure the exact word to use, but I know what. If you don't put it, it's not a problem. But when you put it, it gives it more. It makes it more full. Let me use that word. So E. Then you have E. E is 100 million. E, that's a fourth tone. So all this, when you're pronouncing or speaking, sometimes you could play around it, depending on how critical the Chinese person is. Some Chinese people are those that are quite exposed and all, they may be able to get what you're trying to say. But when it's an official conversation, it is important that you use the right tone when you are writing, that you know the character you're aiming at. Then go for the new tools we have to help ourselves, the AIs, the translators. They are really very good because at least it can help you to solve that. But regardless of how it is, you really need to have a grip of that so that it can help in your writing and your pronunciation as well. So this is the first one. Ba, ba, 8. You can see the character goes right and left stroke. Ba, it means figure 8, 8 mangoes. Sure. I can say, for example, ba pingo, bag pingo. I can't say ba pingo. You have to put g. Now the g there is another thing I want to say. It gives you that fullness I was talking about, because now you're talking about numbers. By the time I say ba pingo, they'll know I'm a learner. But by the time I say nige wo bag pingo, it's like a particle vowel. No, not particle vowel. Let's call it, and not a verb. Let's say particle noun that adds. I wouldn't want to call it an adjective. Kind of qualifies the figure 8, which is more like an adjective because it kind of describes or helps the noun, which is the mango, apple. So if I say gay wo, it means give me 8 mangoes. Now I can't say gay wo ba pingo, which is gay means give, wo means me, ba means 8, pingo means apple. I can't say ba pingo. I must put ba g pingo. The g must go together with the 8 so that it's still more like an adjective, kind of gives the 8, the adjective 8, more body. to describe what they are trying to say. As again, give or ba pingo. It's absolutely wrong in Chinese language, wrong grammar. Then this one is ba, to pull. Ba. You can see the picture trying to pull the carrot off the ground. Ba. Then you have ba, ba. Look at the character. You can see the character. They all means ba, 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 B-A, all of them. Then ba, baba. You can see the younger child and the father. Baba. They all means B-A. Now, but if I'm going to say my father is going to take me to school and I mistakenly use the target, I'm talking of writing, assuming I'm writing, and I want to say my father, and I use the target as my ba, or I use the pool as my ba, or I use the 8 as my ba. All right, wo baba, I wrote wo, and then I put ba and repeat it because you don't read. I wrote 8. It's taking me to school. Wo baba dai wo I should son wo chu shuisha. If they see 8, they're going to say my 8 takes me to. It will take somebody who just really know what you're saying to say, are you sure you're not trying to say your father or something? Then you'll be like, yeah, that's what I was saying. But who has that patience in this world that is running faster than we think? So it is very important that we identify and know the character we're trying to use whenever we are writing. So the tones can never, to form a word or a sentence in Chinese, 3 things are key, and you have to pay attention to those 3 things. The final, the initial, and the tone. The final, the initial, and the tone. Now, when you're done with those 3, it's important to start learning the characters. What does each word mean? It's not hard, but it's also not so easy, but it can be taken gradually. It's easier when you try to form consonants, your finals and vowels, and put the different signs and see what they mean, and then find the character. Just like English, you memorize the spelling, like dictations. You have to memorize them so that you know what is for what. Like I said, there are over 5,000 characters, and but if you know 500, you're good because you can mix them up to form words. 2 characters can mean 1 word. 1 character can mean 1 word. 3 characters can mean 1 word. So it just depends on how it is mixed. That's the most important thing. So this is it. This is a character which we call in Chinese is Hanzi. Hanzi. And this is the pinyin. If you're typing on the system, these are the things you would type. BA. Last week I gave an example. I don't know if I can still do that now. Just to help us see what I'm trying to say. So I have my system already. So this is BA, as you can see. You can see the 8 is here. You can see the ba is here. This one doesn't, this is the ba I was talking about, that doesn't mean anything. You put it at ge wo ba. It doesn't really mean anything. It just gives body to the, that's the one, the number 1. So I was, there are more, sorry. So you can see the ba. You can see the bar that I was talking about. That's the one of the pool. And then you see others at here. Different, they mean different things. I can't tell you I know everything, but if I were to use any of this, I would need to find which character I'm actually going for. So all these are BA. All these are BA and they mean different things. So it is important that you know what you're going for and then you go for it. Just thought to add that to it. So this is pool, this is target, and they all are BA. Now the tone mark should be placed on the main vowel, like when you're writing your and pinyin, but this is for beginners. So if you're a beginner, of course, like we are, we have to teach you how to use the finals and the consonants. So you can see the tones are usually on top of the finals and the main finals for that matter, because there are times where you have, for example, where you have the ZH. If I have to put ZHUANG, now you see there are 2 finals there, but my mark will be on the A and not the U. That's why they say it has to be on the main. But if there is only 1 final, of course I put it on that 1 final. But where there are 2 finals, for example, how, it has to be on the A because it is at the point of the A that the tone is strong. So you have to put it in the main vowel, the main final, not just anyone. In this case, where they have two, it couldn't be on U. It has to be on O, it has to be on E, and it has to be on A. The same for any of them. Doesn't matter if it's the first, second, or third this. So let's see some other ones. We've done ba already. Now we have ma. You can see the character for ma. Ma, sorry, ma, ma. Then you have the ma. This ma means like to bother you. You know, it goes with fan, for example, to say ma fan. If I say ma fan, it means please excuse me, please can you help me? You know, when I say chin ma fan, it's like taking an excuse. So like, please can you excuse me? Can you help me? You know, it's like an excuse. When you want to bother someone, that ni ma fan, or you're troubling me, you're disturbing me or something. It just depends on the context you use it. But if I put it as ma, generally ma means like some kind of excuse to bother somebody, to things like that. Then you have the ma. This ma is horse, and then you have the ma. The ma, that one means to scold somebody. So you can see the character. In some cases, they share similar characters. Like if you look at the ma, you see that it has this shape. The ma, that's for mother. If you see ma, if you see the ma, you see this shape. If you come to ma, the horse, you see this shape. If you come to ma, you see the shape is under, but it's just that it has two things on top. So usually, at least if I give myself, when we're studying in school, sometimes we memorize some of these things by some critical stuff. This character in front of ma, in front of ma, this character in front of ma means female. It means a girl. So if I forget something and what I want to say is attributed to something feminine, and let's assume I'm in an exam, I'm not sure which character, but what I want to say is kind of attributed to something feminine. Most times, if I know one of the characters that is attached, for example, in this case where you have the ma, you have this horse-like character on three of these. If I see the female in front, I'll most likely go for it. Then you say, okay, what about this ma? This ma has something like two mouths because the character in front of it means mouth or opening. Ko means ko. It means ko. Ko, ko. So it means two mouth. Now, if you want to scold somebody, use your mouth, right? So some of those things we use them usually for because they actually mean something. You know, we use them usually for things like what we're trying to explain and all that. Then we come to this place. E means one. E is just a dash. E. The next one is E to move. Ido moves. So this is E. Then you have the E, 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 down, up. Not E, E, not E, E. So this one means easy. That's the one I talked about, chair. Like the chair I'm sitting on, the chair on the dining, anyone, easy. Then you have the E, the 100 million. E, 100 million. So you see the characters, Sini, P, they are all YI. Don't forget that your keyboard does not have the tones. So when you type your YI, your keyboard needs you to choose which character you're actually looking for. So you cannot downplay the need to study and memorize characters. So this is just some exercise to tell us some things. You can see E, 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 and then they put the character here and they say, okay, which of these E means this? Of course, is the first one. This is Wu. This Wu means 5. Is the third sign. That's the correct one. U. This U, they didn't put the sign there, but this U here should mean fish. From what I can see, U. Yes, I think. No, U. Yu is, the third one is fish. This yu is rain. Yu is it's rain. So they didn't put it here. Then this ba is 8. And you have the da, which is the down sign. Da. This is bu. Bu means no. This is big. Da means big. And it is a fourth sign. Bu means no. You say, I told you this is a girl. And it means new. You remember when I was teaching you when I was in the second class? Yes, in the second lecture, when I was talking about the consonant and the finals, there was a U sign, the U sign. I said if you're to write a character, you cannot type in U. If you type in U, it won't give you the correct sign. One of it is for this. When you say a girl is U, is Nu, is Nu, New Shiren, New Shiren. It's not Nu, it's not the normal Nu, like just the U. It's stretched. And so if you want to write this character on the system, you have to type NV. If you type NU, you get something else. This is NU, you can see. It tells me something totally different. But when I type NV, it gives me the character I'm looking for. The moment I type V, you can see it gives me the U. Let me see if I can. I hope I can zoom. It gives me the U with the 2 dots. But I typed V. V was actually what I typed on my system. Then it gave me the U with the 2 dots. And you can see the female character here. So just thought to also touch on that. So this is it here. No. The third sign with the stretch. You see, I told you when you were looking at the ma scold somebody. I told you it was cool, 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 and that is mouth. So this is one mouth or one opening. So if they put two, it means the person really spoke harsh. So that's why it's cool. Then you have this by. This is the second tone. By means white. This is supposed to be hey. Hey means black. They didn't put in the character there. But let me type and show you the character for hey. Just like I'll show you the character for this character for A. This A. Number 1 here is A. That's black. That's the character for black. The other one they didn't put character is rain. That's the character for rain. So they didn't put the character for rain. So that's the character for rain. For the YU, they missed it. Rain. So this is the black. Ma. This is the third one. Ma. And this is Ni. Ni is you. Ni means you. Ma means us. And how. How means good, fine, and the rest. So these are some exercises you might want to try. I know you might say it's a bit early, but it's just to help you understand the different tones. So you could type it with your system and say, okay, how can I know is E as in 1, or Wu as in 5, or U as in rain, or Ba as in 8, Da as in big. This character is Bu. Bu means no. And then you have the Nu, Nu Shiren, Nu, girl, lady, female. You have the Ko, Ko, mouth. You have the mouth. Then you have the Bai means white. This one is Hey, Hey means black. You have the Ma means horse. Ni, Ni means you. And how means good or fine. As you can see, the 4 tones are here with the words, and then they put in the characters, and they're like trying to say, choose which character this and z, meaning these characters represent. Which word does this, which of the pinyin, let me use the Chinese word, which of the pinyin these characters represent? Understanding that the tones are different, even though the pinyin are the same. And these are the answers as they go. We'll be stopping here as much as possible. I do not want my videos to be long, as I hope that students will take time to study and then ask questions. I'll be willing to entertain questions from the chat, from the comment section. I would like to see your comments. Am I sending a message across? What feedbacks will be entertained? What do you want to see? Um, uh, what do you hope to learn? Because like I said, it's better when you learn the Chinese from the scratch. If you just jump, I can move straight to conversation, really, just discuss how to buy things from the market, how to do this. As nice as that is, it's good that you start from the basics because with Chinese, if you don't get the tone, you can as well just try not to speak the language. The tones are important because it can be misleading. I still suffer that sometimes. So when I'm speaking, I'm actually looking at the face of the Chinese person I'm speaking. Once I see a disconnect, I know that I have pronounced something wrongly or I've used the word wrongly. But in all the same, I still try to get myself back and get things corrected because I'm within the environment and I'm practicing every day. So let's see how we can work together and see how we can make this class a bit more interactive, asking the necessary questions and things you would want to know or things that bothers you in the language. I'll be very much available to help out. Thank you for today's class. Thank you for your audience. And we may continue conversation class in the next class, but it is important that we get used to identify the characters, the tones, the finals, and the initials. Thank you so much. This is Auntie P signing out. Thank you.